What's up, guys? Welcome to Do Good Movement. Our purpose here is to make a positive impact in our society through real-life education. The movement comes into play when you guys share the content to help other people do good just like you. So today I'm going to give you guys a story, but also hopefully educate you guys on how to get started if you're a little bit lost right now, possibly going through school, not knowing what you're going to do in your future career, or you just got out of a career and you're kind of lost on what to go do next. Guys, that's a normal feeling. And I would say it's probably one of the biggest fears that we could have, growing up or starting something new because of the unknown, right? Because what if we fail? What if this doesn't work? How am I going to feel about myself? How are others going to feel about me? And I remember back in high school, I'd say around like sophomore years when I really started thinking about what am I going to do? And it was like a broken record that played in my head, I would say every day, and just was kind of living in fear a little bit. I was going to school. I didn't have too much interest in what I was learning there, but now how do I just go translate this and turn 18 years old and somehow need to go and execute and make money and build this life, right? And what I could tell you guys when you're going through those thoughts, I just want you to look around and reflect as well of all the people that you met in your life. The majority of people that you've met or the people that are around you have started from nothing, and they've had to go build a career. They've had to go build a business, whatever that might be. And that fear is actually a good thing if you could use it for you, because it's going to make you find a way to get out of it. When you're scared of something for so long, there's a point where you just can't curl up anymore and sit there and wait, where you're actually going to have to go do something. So now knowing that there's all these people around you today that have been able to go build something for themselves, you could do it too. So as I was going through high school, I worked at a sushi restaurant here in Temecula, California named Jin Sushi. Amazing family. I started off as a dishwasher, washing dishes for this business. And, it was good. I actually worked. I had a pretty cool schedule from Thursday through Sunday. During school and stuff, I'd work on the weekends and really got to see what it's like to have a lot of the freedom taken away when all my friends are out having fun. And so just learning the different things to do inside the sushi restaurant, from doing dishes to bussing tables to waiting tables at one point. It was really cool. I got to meet a lot of good people, always interested kind of guy, learned about what they did, but I found myself kind of stuck, not knowing what to do next. And that fear that I was talking about came back. I'm like, Dylan, what are you going to really go do here? And what I could tell you guys is I kept searching and searching, because where I was at that moment wasn't where I wanted to go. And I ended up buying a dirt bike off of a gentleman named Bob, a very nice guy. And through just conversation with this gentleman and kind of talking about my story, where I'm at, where I'm going, Bob gave me a lot of insight, became a mentor off of buying a dirt bike from him, and started riding motocross with him and his son. Eventually, this guy named Bob has taken me under his wing at his car dealership to buy cars for him. And so I was on commission only, buying cars for this gentleman. And when I slowed up, I said, "Hey, Bob, is there anything else to do?" And this is once I moved on from the sushi restaurant. And he had some turf in the back of his lot. And I started cutting turf and delivering turf as a warehouse worker, and did this for multiple months. And Bob and I got to talking, and obviously saw some hustle in me, and he said, "Hey, let's go do something like this in Temecula." And I said, "Okay, great, let's go do it." I had a little bit of money saved up. I remember I talked to my parents. They're like, "Absolutely not. This sounds strange. It sounds like a scam, whatever." Bob was the same age as my parents, and I'm a young kid, right out of high school. And I said, "You know what? I need to take the opportunity. What I've been doing is not satisfying me enough to where I want to go, and I'd rather just go take an opportunity and fail at that than do nothing at all." And so I want to stop right there before I continue my story. And there are different things that are presented to you guys today. There are different people around you today. And what I want you guys to do is not be so closed off, stuck in your own ways. This is who I am, or have an ego and say I'm too good for this. When you guys are just starting off, and even to continue to grow, you always have to be open. You have to operate life with no ego. You have to be curious and ask questions to the ones around you and everybody you walk by, guys, in the grocery store, at a gas station, wherever it might be. They all have a different story. And even though it's weird sometimes to say, hey, how are you? Or you just say hi to random people, those are the right characteristics and the right behaviors that are going to push you far in life. But if you're just sitting there, guys, and you're closed off and you're not willing to have a conversation or talk to somebody new, what is telling you that anything's going to be different for you tomorrow? So you need to get to a spot where you are obviously in fear so much and you can't live that way anymore, where you have to go and take it. Now, the sooner you could start, the better off you're going to be. And what I mean by that is, as you grow older and your bills start to come, you can't, when you have those bills stacking up, there might be a day where you need that dollar tomorrow to pay for it. And now if you guys are listening to this and you're young and you're in school and you're going to start these conversations now. Start building your network of people today, because there's going to be somebody in your life that is going to see that thing in you that they once were, and they're going to invest into you. And that is the number one reason today that I'm able to talk in front of you guys and say I'm successful, because I was open. I went after my fears and I said, you know what? I'm going to give it all I have. And if I fail, I fail. But this is what I got in front of me and I'm going to do it. And I was lucky enough to have a guy like Bob to invest into me, to show me the way. And so that you're going to hear about this fear that continues to come up. But going through this journey, when Bob and I opened up this small, we called it our liquidation lot in Temecula, California, we went and bought scraps of turf back from the factories, and we brought them to Temecula to sell them on Craigslist. And Bob had a car dealership, I was saying, so he was pretty consumed with that, but he would help me over the phone. He'd come in on Mondays. When we first started, he spent a couple of weeks there. And I remember the first day opening business, guys. I didn't know what, sales tax, how to pay sales tax. I didn't know payroll. I didn't know business license. I didn't know resale license. I didn't know how to hire anybody. I didn't know leadership. I absolutely knew nothing. Like, I'm the kid that skated through high school that said, yeah, let's go open up a business, right? And so this big container of turf arrives at the lot, and I might have said this in a different show, guys, but it was this big semi-truck full of these, like, rolls. Like, think of carpet. That's what turf looks like. And I remember I was with my buddy, and we call Bob and say, hey, man, how do we unload this? And we didn't have our forklift at the time. And he said, well, just go to Home Depot or Lowe's, go get a strap, tie it around the rolls, hook it to the back of your truck, and pull it out with your truck. So I think it took my buddy and I about 8 hours to pull this turf out of the back of the container. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Turf's on the ground, truck's gone, the lot looks like shit. But now what do we do? So call Bob, hey, man, what do we do? And so as you see, like, I'm reaching out to somebody right here. This is what's so important about having a network. No matter if you're starting off, if you're going, you're going to run into roads where you just don't know what to do. That is normal, guys. Don't expect to go into your next job. Don't expect to go into the next business venture and know how to do it all from the start. It's about saying, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to quit, and I'm going to push through, and I'm going to figure it out as I go, and I'll utilize my network as a resource and the mentors around me to help guide me. And then so I said, Bob, what do I sell it for? And he's like, oh, just mark it up like $1 a square foot. And I'm like, well, some of this stuff's like purple with lines over here, and some of this stuff's amazing. That doesn't make sense. He's like, well, on average, try to make $1 a square foot. So I'm like, okay, well, crap. How do I even inventory this and know what the sales price is? So my buddy and I are selling at the same price. So I remember sitting down with my mom, and my mom helped me build this Excel spreadsheet on how to track profit. And so then we did that, and then I'm like, okay, let's get customers. So at the time, we were marketing through Craigslist to get customers, and Bob spent a lot of time with my buddy and I to build these Craigslist ads. And so we would form these Craigslist ads, put them out there, and customers would call, and then they'd come look at the product. Well, at the time, we didn't really even know anything about the artificial grass either. We just knew this is what we need to sell it for, and hopefully the customer could understand the value and sell their self, right? And one thing Bob did very well is he's always genuine, always smiled. And so that's one thing. My buddy's name, by the way, is Mac Boltrus, still a great friend of mine. But so that's one thing Mac and I learned. Just smile at everybody, ask how they're doing, talk and just get to know them as people. And so customers started coming in. We started selling them grass. And it started, sell 1 happened, sell 2 happened, sell 3. And it started working, guys. And we started turning a profit. It was amazing. And so as the inventory got smaller, same thing, Bob, what do we do? So we went and bought more and more inventory. Well, then got to a place where the company is growing and needed to start keeping books, needed to start doing all the taxes, all the right things that business should do, get our licenses, all of these things. And we needed more help, right? But we couldn't just operate under the table, just, buying stuff for cash and selling it for cash. That's short term, right? We wanted to do this thing big. And then so utilizing, again, my network, talking to my mom, talking to Bob, talking to the people that worked at Bob's business on like, hey, so like what should we do now? Well, it sounds like you need an office manager. Sounds like you need an office person that could do this thing. So write down all the different things that you're struggling in today, and then let's put a job description out and post it. We'll go post it on Craigslist. And then we found this lady named Michelle Bach. She's actually still with us today. And then so this is where this trajectory of going straight up came from. So Michelle came in and interviewed her, and I was just interviewing off of like personality feel, like think we could work together, probably like the wrong things to interview off of, but in her resume had all the great things. And at that time, when you're sitting there at 18 years old with you and your buddy selling scraps on Craigslist, not knowing what the hell you're doing, you're trying to sell the shit out of that person you're interviewing to come work with you, regardless of their history or what. But somebody to sit down at your table and possibly get a job with you with what's going on was amazing. So we were lucky enough to bring in Michelle to come work with us, and just said, hey, Michelle, so here's all the things that we need help in. And, her resume spoke to it, and she started helping us. And I made sure to spend a lot of time with Michelle and learn all the different things that she's doing, because this is where my business education is going to come from. So I'm going to pause right there again. Let's rewind, guys. Coming from high school, working at a sushi restaurant, or let's go back from high school, not knowing what I want to do, that fear. A lot of us have that fear today, even us becoming older and stuff, just we're stuck in a job that we don't like. We want to do something bigger. Like this thing still exists no matter the age when you guys are trying to find your way. But going from that to working at a sushi restaurant to finally just saying, you know what, I need to move on from this. I need to do something else, taking a risk, turning into a buyer of a car dealership somehow off of somebody I met. Why not, right? I'm going to learn from this. Got to work for a reputable, business, to getting to get close with owner at that car dealership, and then working at a side business cutting scraps. Didn't know how to cut turf. Didn't know how to operate a forklift. Didn't know how to do deliveries. Never did really any of that stuff. And just saying, hey, I'm open. Like, teach me. I want to learn. This is, as you can see, that fear is slowly going away, because I'm now utilizing the people around me to grow onto that next thing. Now, when I started in turf and selling scraps on Craigslist, I had big goals, but I didn't know how to go build the $100 million business we have today with all the team members we have today. Those things come. And I think a lot of people, guys, get impatient, and they see all these big things out there, if it's social media or their friends that have got ahead of them, and they say, hey, I need to be right there tomorrow. And if they don't get it, they quit, and they get stuck back in that same spot. And you guys need to understand that you don't have to be in level 10 tomorrow. You need to go through the ranks of learning. And when level 10 is right for you, level 10 is going to come for you. And why I say that, guys, is because you build this education along the way as you're growing something, and that's what will put you in that next spot. And as I talked about on one of our previous shows, if you just try to implement yourself in level 10, like if somebody gave me the lotto today and said, hey, build your company to $1 billion tomorrow, we're probably going to fail, because I didn't have to learn how to bring it to 100 million to 250 to 500 to $1 billion. There's a lot of stuff out there today that I don't know how to do it. But with being open and utilizing my resources and our team, we are going to find our way there. So with that being said, guys, don't fear that next thing or that next step. It will happen. It will come to you. So after we brought in Michelle and she started helping with all the office stuff, well, then it was time for the second location. And I remember that's something that Bob really pushed on me, and it was one of the greatest things he's done to help me see that other people could do things just as good as I can, and to, when the opportunity's out there, you got to strike. Go on to the next thing, go on to the next thing. So then opened up another location. I pulled that same model. And so what I started doing is I started hiring different people that knew more than me in all these different areas. So we brought in somebody that was a small-time accountant to also help with, some of the store management. I got to learn accounting. I got to learn store management. Then eventually hired in salespeople, somebody who had a sales background for a lot more time than I did. So got to learn from them. And then you start bringing in management and all these different things. And then, I'm not going to bore with you guys with a story, but you learn as you go. And if you think about even the education system from kindergarten to college, you learn as you go. You don't go into kindergarten and start college tomorrow. There's a reason we go through all the paces, even though a lot of us want to get there sooner. That's good to have, but you guys need to be patient and trust the road that is provided in front of you. So what I want you guys to remember through this story and this conversation is, don't have an ego. Be open, utilize your resources around you, and ask as many questions as you can, because there's a lot of people that are living the life that you want to live and that have been there through a different segment of it. So if you guys are stuck today and scared and don't know what to do, I want you guys to make that scared and that fear, turn it into positive energy and take action on it. And I'll tell you what, as I said it earlier, is I was your regular kid in high school. I think I had like a 2.5 grade average. School wasn't about me. Now, looking back, hindsight, I wish I would have paid more attention. There's some things that I lack in business that I would have learned from school, such as like English, different things in college that people learn. A lot of discipline. Even if you don't learn like what you're supposed to learn in college, one thing it does teach you that I've seen through a lot of people is just heavy discipline, operating low on sleep, having to get up and perform, having to get and talk to people, all that uncomfortable stuff where you guys are probably like, oh, I hate this, I don't want to do this. That's good. That's the stuff you guys need to go do. Because when you accomplish that and you make your weaknesses turn into your strengths, then you check it off the box and becomes easy. I'll tell you what, about 4 or 5 years ago, I used to hate talking in front of a camera. Like I used to hate, I would sit here and be like, can we edit that? Can we redo that? Can we redo that? And now, since I've faced it so many times, it just starts becoming natural and coming together. So you guys don't let those things hold you back that are holding you back today. And just go and pursue whatever is on your mind, whatever opportunities out there, even if it doesn't connect with your lifetime goals or what you want to do, or it doesn't sound sexy, get started in something today and be open and be willing to learn. If that's becoming a janitor, become a janitor. If that's becoming a salesperson, be a salesperson. If it's working in a warehouse, in a warehouse. If it's doing an internship, do an internship. You got to start somewhere. Don't sit there and waste your time today and try to wait for this perfect opportunity to come. I didn't think I was going to be selling artificial grass for a living at all. And I'm sitting here doing it, and I'm happier than shit. I think the product's cool, but not as cool as selling exotic cars or something like that, right? Like all those things that we dreamed of that sound super fun. The opportunity is going to be fun. What you learn through the opportunity is going to be fun, and you just got to start now. If it's working out of a restaurant, if it's doing dishes, whatever it might be, start now, and then you'll get to a spot probably where you're ready for the next thing. Hopefully you built part of your resume where that next thing will pay you a little bit more. So if you go into a job today as a dishwasher, your resume better break out exactly how you're the best damn dishwasher, and then a little bit more. You learn some of these personal skills there. You learn some of these essential skills there. And then you go into your next job, like let's say I did, and got into waiting. Then I learned customer service. Boom, was able to put that into my resume. as you can see, you start stacking up. And so just take on different opportunities today, guys. If it doesn't line up with exactly where you want to go, you got to start somewhere, and look at it as school. The worst thing that you will get from jumping into a career or jumping into a business is education. And all education is good education. You'll walk away with something. If nothing, it's going to be education. If you don't grow at that thing you want to do and you don't make more money, what can you get from it? What you can get from it, guys, is what you learn. And the difference of people who are starting and the difference of people who are successful, there's nothing besides education. The people with the education are able to go do more things because they've had to learn how to do it and how to get there. There's nothing else special in them. So takeaway, guys, jump into something, go do it. Don't have an ego. Be open. Build resources around you. Talk to random people. You guys all go to different birthdays and parties and stuff. Don't just go hang out with the cool kids. Go hang out with random people. Introduce yourself. Just ask them different questions about their history, how they grew up, what do they do for work, how did they get into it. If you guys ever see me in a personal setting, I dive deep to learn everything I know about a random person. I have nothing in common with them, but I'll walk up to anybody and have a conversation because I'm so interested to learn about them. And I just got 20 years of that person's experience and education now into me. And you're going to have to I do want to add one piece in it. You guys are going to have to sacrifice a lot to do things that you really dreamed of. It's hard to do everything at one time. And what I mean by that, guys, is I started at 18. And a lot of people that I'll meet that are older than me, like, oh, Dylan, I wish I started when you were. I couldn't imagine. You're 28 years old, you're crushing it and all that stuff. And I smile and I said, yeah, I'm thankful that I got that fire in me early and for the people around me that invested into me. But at the same time, man, I go back and I reflect on how hard it was. You get out of school and having to be on this strict schedule all the time, and you go and look and your friends are out partying and doing this and doing that and having to say, hey, I can't do that. You have a job to go to in the morning, or you have a business to run. I gave up. I had to trade those younger years of my life, guys, to be where I am today. I didn't just live the normal 18 and 20, my teens and 20s to be 28 years old in the position I'm in. I had to trade and say, you know what? I want to build a family one day. I want to be successful one day. When I have a family, I want to be there with my family. And whatever it's going to take to get there, I will sacrifice to get there. And that's exactly what I did. And so you guys are going to have to make that hard conversation when you're used to being with your best friends every day and going on all the vacations all the time. If you guys want to take it serious and you guys really want to go build something, that's going to have to cut out soon. And I could tell you what the energy I had. I still have a lot of energy. I'm still young, but as you get older, that energy starts dropping little by little. And so what I'd recommend doing is doing it early, guys. Doing it early and ending early so that the second half of your life, you could spend it exactly how you dreamed of spending it. But as you go along this road, don't forget the people that have invested into you, that have taken care of you. Be sure, stay in contact. Don't just write off your friends, guys. You could still be in good communication with them and let them know what you're doing. Let them know your goals, why you're taking this so serious. And you could also be that influence and that leader in your friend's life. You guys, I say it easy, but it is hard. Today it's still hard. It's gotten better through the years, but each year comes with its own obstacles. I mean, man, I remember 20 years old, just going through it, just 7 days a week. The business wasn't working. I just felt like it just kind of just in repeat, just struggling, and just going to my mom's house and just on her couch, just crying, just like a little baby, just, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm missing out on all this stuff in my life. I'm sitting here dedicating I'm 20 years old running a business. I have like 15 people, 20 people working for me at the time, maybe a little bit more. Financials aren't there. I want to quit. This sucks. And just sitting there crying, going through all these different emotions. And I didn't quit, which is probably the best thing for me, because if I would have quit that, who knows where the hell I'd end up today. And so that's another takeaway for you guys. Even how hard it can be at times, you got to push through that, because there's nothing that we're going to be faced in this world that we can't get through. So if you guys are going through that time, if it's business, if it's work, if it's something's going on in your family, you got to be strong. You got to push through it, because there's greatness on the other side. And it's been it's just been a hard road, guys. But just reflecting and looking where it came out to be, I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely fortunate, and I could say it's worth it. I'm 28, have an amazing family. My second daughter's on the way, and if I didn't sacrifice and take all those different things, I wouldn't be where I was today. And I want to see you guys make that similar road for you to enjoy life how you're supposed to be enjoying life. All right, guys, do good.